1. Introduction. My name is Nikki, and I am 24 years old. I work as an assistant for Mr. Hutch. He is a rich and hardworking man. My job is okay, but sometimes it is not easy. Mr. Hutch has a woman he will marry. She is his fiancée. Her name is Verena. I do not like Verena because she is not a kind person. She is not kind to me or other people in the office. She often visits Mr. Hutch at work, even though she does not work there. When she comes, the atmosphere in the office changes. She looks at everyone with cold eyes. Sometimes she speaks to me, but her words are often critical or just unfriendly. She makes me feel uncomfortable and unhappy at my job. I try to avoid her, but it is difficult because she is Mr. Hutch's fiancée. One night, the company had a big office party. It was a special event. Everyone was happy and excited. The office was decorated with lights and balloons. Music was playing loudly. There was a lot of delicious food and many different kinds of drinks. People were talking, laughing, and some were dancing. It was a good time to relax and forget about work for a few hours. I was with my friends from the office. We were enjoying the party. We talked and laughed. I had some drinks. Then I had more drinks. I drank too much that night. I felt very happy and maybe a little silly. I saw Mr. Hutch at the party too. He was talking to different people. He was smiling and laughing. He also had a drink in his hand. I saw him drink many times during the party. He had too many drinks, just like me. The party continued for a long time. As the night got later, people started to leave. The music became quieter. The room was not so full anymore. Only a few people were left. I was still there, and Mr. Hutch was still there. We both had too many drinks. The happy party was ending, and the night was going to take a different turn. 2. One night, after the office party finished, Mr. Hutch asked me a question. He asked if I could go to his house to help him with some important work papers. It was quite late, but I said yes. So, we went to his home together. Mr. Hutch lives in a very big house. It is a beautiful house with many rooms, showing he is a rich man. We went inside and sat down in a comfortable room. The papers were there, but we did not start working right away. Instead, we began to talk. We talked about the office party, about our jobs, and about other things in our lives. We laughed together a lot. It felt different talking to him like this, outside of work hours. We had more drinks while we talked. The night felt easy and warm. Then, something unexpected happened between us. It was not planned at all. One moment led to another, and we spent the whole night together in his house. It was a big surprise, and soon I knew it was a very big mistake. The next morning, when the sun was coming up, I woke up. I was in a soft bed, but I was not in my own apartment. I was in Mr. Hutch's house. My head felt heavy from the drinks, but the feeling in my heart was much worse. A terrible feeling came over me. I felt scared and confused. I remembered the night before. What had I done? Mr. Hutch woke up too. He looked around the room slowly. Then he saw me there. His eyes opened wide, and he looked very surprised, maybe even shocked. He sat up in the bed and looked at me with a worried face. He spoke in a low, serious voice. He said, "Nikki, this was a mistake. This should not have happened." I felt the same way exactly. I knew it was wrong and could cause many problems. I said, "Yes, Mr. Hutch, it was a big mistake." I felt very uncomfortable and wanted to leave immediately. I got out of the bed quickly. I found my clothes and put them on as fast as I could. I did not look at Mr. Hutch much. I did not say many words to him. I just needed to get out of his house. I walked out of the room and through the big house. I went out the front door and left his house very fast. I walked quickly away, trying to understand what happened. My mind was full of worry and fear. The night was a secret now, a bad secret that I had to keep. I knew I had made a very big mistake. 3, a big surprise. A few weeks went by. Life felt different. Something was not right. I started to feel sick. This feeling came every morning. It was not a good feeling. I felt sick and tired all the time. This was new for me. I was usually full of energy, but now I felt very weak. I was tired when I woke up, and I was tired at work. I was tired when I went home. The tiredness was always there. I also felt scared again. It was the same scared feeling I had after that night. Why was I feeling like this? I thought about it a lot. One day, I knew I needed to do something. I went to a shop after work. It was a small shop near my apartment. I looked at the things on the shelves. I was looking for something specific. I found it. It was a box. Inside the box was a pregnancy test. My hands were shaking a little when I took the box. I paid for it quickly and left the shop. I walked home fast. I wanted to be alone. When I was home, I went to the bathroom. I took the test out of the box. I read the instructions. My hands were still shaking. I did the test. Then I had to wait. Waiting felt like a very, very long time. My heart was beating fast. I was scared about what the test would show. What would happen? I looked at the test. It was on the side of the sink. I looked closely. There were lines on the test. 1 line meant no baby. 2 lines meant yes, a baby. I looked again. There were 2 lines, 2 clear lines. It was positive I was pregnant. The test showed I was going to have a baby. For a moment, I did not move. Then the feelings came. I felt shocked. I felt scared. I felt sad. I started to cry. Big tears came down my face. It was true. I was pregnant. And I knew who the father was. It was Mr. Hutch, my boss. I was pregnant with my boss's baby. It was a big surprise. A very big surprise after that one night. 4, my secret plan. After I saw the 2 lines on the test, I knew I had a big secret. I was pregnant, and the baby's father was Mr. Hutch, my boss. My heart felt heavy. What should I do? I thought for a long time. Telling Mr. Hutch felt impossible. I was very afraid. What if he was angry? What if he fired me from my job? I needed my job very much. I needed money to live and to take care of my baby. So telling him felt too dangerous. Then I thought about Verena, Mr. Hutch's fiancée. She was not a kind person at all. If she knew about the baby, especially that it was Mr. Hutch's baby, I was sure she would be very, very angry. She would make my life even more difficult than it already was. Maybe she would try to make me lose my job too, or even worse things. I did not want problems with her, so I made a strong decision. I would not tell anyone about the baby. It would be my secret, just for me. This secret was not easy to keep inside. My body started to change quickly. I felt tired all the time, from the morning until the evening. And every morning I felt sick. Very, very sick. It was hard to hide this at work. I started wearing bigger clothes than before. My normal work clothes did not feel comfortable anymore around my stomach. I found old sweaters and loose shirts and trousers in my closet. I hoped nobody in the office would notice the change in my style of clothes. The biggest problem was the sickness in the morning. Sometimes I felt sick very suddenly during the day, not just in the morning. When this happened, I had to run to the bathroom quickly without anyone seeing me. I was always worried that someone would see me leaving my desk so fast or hear me in the bathroom. I tried very hard to control the sickness, but it was very difficult. I drank a lot of water and tried to eat small amounts of simple food, but nothing helped much for long. I was always scared that Mr. Hutch or one of my colleagues would ask me why I was going to the bathroom so often, or why my face looked so pale and tired. I tried hard to act normal. I sat at my desk and did my work every day. But doing my job took much more energy than it did before. I felt tired even when I just sat there quietly. My head sometimes felt dizzy, like the room was moving. I wanted to sleep all the time. I wanted to go home and rest in my bed, but I had to stay and work. I needed the money for my future and the baby's future. Verena was still in the office sometimes. She often came to see Mr. Hutch in his office. When she was there, she looked around the office area. And she looked at me very often. Her eyes were sharp and cold. She did not smile at me or say a kind word. She just looked. Sometimes her look felt like she was asking a question without speaking, like she knew something was different about me and she was trying to understand what it was. I felt her eyes on me many times during the day. I tried to look busy, to look at my computer screen and pretend I did not notice her. But I could feel her watching me. I was very worried that she suspected something important. Maybe she saw that I was always tired. Maybe she noticed my bigger, looser clothes. Maybe she heard me when I felt sick and had to leave my desk. I did not know for sure what she thought, but I had a bad feeling about her watching me. My secret felt very heavy and dangerous. I hoped I could keep it hidden for a long time, at least until I knew what to do next. But I did not know if I could hide it much longer. It was getting harder every single day to keep it a secret. 5. Trouble with Verena. Verena watched me more and more each day. It felt like her eyes followed me everywhere in the office. She started to see things about me. She noticed that I was always tired. My face also looked different. Sometimes I looked very pale. Verena is a smart woman. I think she knew something was different with me. I did not know exactly what she thought, but her constant watching made me feel very uncomfortable and nervous. Then, she began to create problems for me with my work. This made things very difficult. She went to Mr. Hutch often. She told him about my performance. She said I was not doing my job well anymore. She said I was making many mistakes. This was not completely true. Yes, sometimes I made small errors because I felt so tired or sick. But Verena told Mr. Hutch that my work was always bad. Sometimes she even did things to my work papers when I was away from my desk. I would leave papers on my desk. Later, I would find something was changed. Maybe a number was wrong or a page was missing. It made it look like I had made a mistake. I was sure Verena was doing this. She wanted to make me appear bad in front of Mr. Hutch. Mr. Hutch started to notice these reports. He called me into his office. He talked to me about my work. He was confused by Verena's comments. He said, "Nikki, I hear from Verena that your work is not good recently. Are you okay? Is there something wrong?" He looked worried. I wanted so much to tell him the truth, but I was too afraid of everything. So I just said, "I am very sorry, Mr. Hutch. I will try much harder." It was hard to speak, but Verena did not stop. One afternoon, she came directly to my desk. She stood very close. She had a smile, but her eyes were cold. She spoke in a low voice. She said, "Mr. Hutch is really not happy with your work, Nikki. Your work is simply not good enough these days." She paused. "Maybe you should think about finding a different job. A new job might be a much better fit for you." I understood her meaning perfectly. She wanted me to leave the company. She was trying to make me quit my job. She knew something was happening with me, and she was using it against me. I felt anger inside, but I kept my face calm. I just looked at her. I did not say a single word. She kept that cold smile, then turned and walked away. Her actions made my life at work incredibly difficult. I was already trying my best to hide my pregnancy. Now, I also had to constantly worry about Verena. She was always watching me. She was telling lies about me. She was changing my work. It felt like she was everywhere, trying to catch me or make me fail. The office felt like a dangerous place. I did not know what I could do to stop her. How could I possibly keep my job? How could I continue to hide my secret? And how could I protect myself from Verena? She seemed very determined to remove me. Every day was a new challenge. I had to be extremely careful, but I needed this job so much. I needed the money for my baby. So I felt I had to stay strong, even with Verena causing trouble for me all the time. 6. Telling Mr. Hutch. I could not keep my secret any longer. My body was changing more, and I started to feel my baby move inside me. It was a small, gentle feeling at first, then stronger. Feeling this made everything very real. It was my baby. I loved this small life growing inside me already. I knew I had to tell Mr. Hutch. I was still scared, but the love for my baby made me feel brave. I decided I must tell him the truth, even if it meant losing my job. One morning, I walked to Mr. Hutch's office. My hands felt cold and my heart was beating fast. I opened the door slowly. Mr. Hutch was sitting at his big desk, and Verena was there too, sitting in a chair near him. My plan was to tell him alone, but Verena was there. I took a deep breath. I had to do it now. Mr. Hutch looked up. Verena looked at me with her usual cold eyes. I stood straighter. I looked at Mr. Hutch and said, "Mr. Hutch, I need to tell you something very important." Mr. Hutch looked a little surprised. Verena just watched me. I looked directly at Mr. Hutch and said clearly, "I am pregnant." Mr. Hutch's eyes got very wide. He looked completely shocked. He did not say anything. Verena made a sudden sound like a gasp, showing her surprise or anger. Then I added the rest. I looked at Mr. Hutch again and said, "And the baby is yours." Mr. Hutch became very pale. He still could not speak. Verena suddenly stood up. Her face was red with anger. She shouted, "This is a lie! You are a liar!" I did not look at Verena. I kept looking at Mr. Hutch. I stood tall and said, "It is not a lie, Mr. Hutch. It is the truth." I wanted him to know I was not asking for anything. "But please do not worry," I said. "I will not cause any problems for you. I understand." I told him my decision. "I will keep my baby. I love my baby. I will find another job. I will leave my job here today." Mr. Hutch just stared at me. He looked like he did not understand anything. His eyes were wide, and he was silent. He did not try to stop Verena, who was still saying angry things. I knew I had said all I needed to say. I turned and walked out of his office. I did not look back. I went to my small desk, picked up my bag, and walked out of the building. My legs felt weak, but I felt a strange mix of sadness and strength. I had done it. I was scared of the future, but I felt strong for my baby. I would take care of us both. 7, a new choice. That evening, I was sitting alone in my small apartment. There was a knock on the door. I opened it, and it was Mr. Hutch. He looked tired, sad, and a little confused. He came inside, and we sat down. He said, "Nikki, today was a big shock for me in the office. I did not know what to say when you told me." He looked at me with serious eyes. "But I have thought about it a lot since you left," he said. "The baby is mine too. It is our baby." He spoke more softly now. "I want to help you," he said. "I want to help with the baby. I will be there for you and our child." This was a new and very important choice for Mr. Hutch. He was deciding to be a father and to be part of my life and the baby's life. The next day, I went to the office to talk with Mr. Hutch about some things. Verena was already there. She had found out that Mr. Hutch had come to visit me at my apartment the night before. She was extremely angry. Her face was red and her eyes were sharp. She started to shout very loudly. She shouted at Mr. Hutch, and then she turned and shouted at me. She said terrible things. She called me names and said bad things about the baby. It was a very difficult and uncomfortable moment for everyone. After Verena finally left, slamming the door behind her, I talked to Mr. Hutch again. I said, "Hutch, you need to know the truth about Verena. She is not the good person you think she is." I told him everything. I told him how she had tried very hard to make me lose my job. I said, "She changed my work papers. She told you lies about me to make you think I was bad at my job." I also told him that she seemed happy when I was feeling sick and tired, even before